Hey besties, hi, how are ya? Okay besties, so I'm glad you're here because I have to talk to you about all the books I read in February. So bestie, I feel that I was blessed with a great month. Yes, there was a lot of great reads this month. Yeah, there was quite a few 5-star reads. I am so excited because I feel like last month TJ Klum broke that curse because it's been a while since I had 5-star reads. Let me tell you that. If you have not seen that video, what are you waiting for? You know what? I'll make it a little easier for you. I'll post it up here. There's like a little bit of everything on this TBR, but 5-star reads, there's a lot of that. Anyways, let's talk about all the books I read in February. Today my beverage of choice is well, not Michael Myers, like of course I have to have a Michael Myers tumbler cup thingy. Beverage of choice today is water because I already had a Celsius. Yeah. So you just hear this. Okay, yeah, it's not as pleasing as when I open a can of Celsius or a can of soda, but hey, it's gonna have to do, okay? Okay, now we can start this video because I was feeling a little parched, a little dry, a little dehydrated, if I must say so myself. The first book I'm talking about is Ask for Andrea by Noel W. Inley? This. Yeah, that. We all know how this goes, bestie, right? I can't really do synopsis to save my life. I would just die, like on that hill if I was asked, hey, Ginnie, can you tell me the synopsis? Sometimes my brain functions well enough where I can do the synopsis, but for the most part, not really. Not really. So in this one, we're following 3 girls, Megan, Bracia, and Sky. Yeah. What do they have in common? They were murdered by the same man. And yeah, that's all I have for you. What's the rating? What did I give it? I believe it was a 4 or 4.5 star rating. This was a very unique take on a psychological thriller. We are actually following the perspective of the girls in this one, and I found that to be very interesting and kind of fun too, because you get to see what they're thinking, what happened, and everything, like what they're feeling too. Also, like seeing their murderer and like the process that he takes to come after his victims. The only reason that this wasn't a full 5 star, because it literally almost was. Okay, bestie? It literally almost was. But in the beginning, I was a little confused. Like, it was kind of hard at times to differentiate which point of view I was in, because again, it's 3 girls, and even though they're like different, I found myself constantly having to like check on my Kindle and see, okay, what chapter is this? Oh, it's Sky's chapter. Oh, okay, it's Bracia. I don't think this is a spoiler. Is it a spoiler? I mean, they all murdered by the same man, so obviously they're dead, right? My darklings in my Patreon book club, they were kind of like laughing at me because I was like, I think like really far into the book when I realized, oh, she's actually dead. I was like, this whole time I'm here, I don't know why. I just thought that one was alive, and it ended up that no, Ginnie. No, she wasn't. Yeah, I was a bit confused. Yeah. And then the other thing too that I found a little bit confusing was the timeline, because literally we're like pushed in there from the very beginning. I was perfectly fine with that because you know what? It does hook me in. Like, it did hook me in. Yeah, it did. It kept me interested as well. The way it was written, the timeline was kind of like back and forth ish, because of course each girl's death was like in a different time frame. That to me was a little bit confusing as well. I think that was the whole thing with me. It was just the confusion part. Everything else to me was executed well, from the killer's POV. Well, he didn't have a POV. Again, this was through the lens of the 3 girls that he murdered. Just everything, the process, his life outside of, murdering. He does have other things that he does. I'm still not sure if it's a 4 star or 4.5, but I think I'm leaning more towards the 4.5 because all in all, I did enjoy this. If you haven't read this, definitely pick it up because it's a great read. Okay, so another book that I read is Together We Rock. Oh, wait a minute. That doesn't even belong in this video. Sorry, bestie. That's actually for my YA channel video. Yes, I have a YA channel that's separate from this because I felt it only made sense. You know, dark side and light side. Just like my server, my Patreon server. It should be up when I post this video, but in the event that it's not, I'm still gonna have the channel linked down below. Actually, I'll just have a video that was posted on there, linked up above. Check it out. So yeah, if you want to see some YA books and upper YA/NA books and a sprinkle of middle grade, then go to Ginnie Reads YA. That's where you'll find, you know, the more lighter things. Somewhat, you know, somewhat, because I still read horror and thrillers and things like that there. But just make it YA. Yeah. Let's go into that another book that belongs on this channel. Yeah. So bestie, we all know I love me a shadow daddy, right? And I love me a villain, the dark ones. You know, you get my point, right? So of course, when I found out about The Stars Are Dying by Chloe C. Peñaranda, I had to pick it up. We are following Estrella. It's funny because her name kind of sounds like Estrella in Spanish. And I think that's like the way it's pronounced in a sense, like Estrella. You know? Yeah, you see the similarity? Estrella in Spanish means star. So that it just makes sense, you know? And then we're following Night. Star, yeah, you see I'm already converting her name. But Estrella is actually like a prisoner in her own mind. She's also a prisoner to somebody. I forgot his name. Who cares about him though, right? We're talking about Estrella. She has this being, Night, who comes in her dreams, who speaks to her, who kind of like lures her. He does this like, Estrella, you hear me? You know, that kind of vibes. Technically, he's her stalker. You see, this is what we do here. This is Ginnie. This is Ginnie Reads, right? Stalker, sure, sign me up. Shadow Daddy, sure, sign me up. Nighttime, sure, sign me up. Stars and celestial stuff, sure, sign me up. Yeah, so you know, like all of the above that I mentioned, sign me up because I'm going to eat it up. You know? Eat it up. Estrella is left wondering, okay, first of all, who the heck is Night? Right? Because I mean, I would be questioning that. Why is he in my head? Is it true what he says? Like, can he protect me? Should I believe him? You know? Yeah, that's what I got for you. There was points in this where I felt, well, we're not gonna start with that, right? You know, as a teacher, a former teacher, I know that usually you don't start with the bad stuff first. Yeah, no. So we're going to start with the good stuff. Well, first of all, vampires. Hello? I love me vampires. Not the sparkly ones. It's like diamonds. Yeah, not those kind. No. Pineapples, take it away. I don't want it. Actual vampires. And in this one, there's vampires that they don't sparkle. What drew me to this book, besides I mean this, you know, and this, that is the main reason I was drawn to this book, the whole celestialness of it. Is that even a word? I mean, if it's not a word, you know, oh well. Welcome to Ginnie Reads. Hi, how are you? And the fact that there was vampires and stuff like that, I did like the whole celestial vibe that was also inside the book. I rated this, I think it was 3 stars, 2.5 to 3 stars.
Before I get into that, you're gonna hear my sidekick Milo biting on his stuff because, you know, for some reason when Ginnie records, he decides, hey, I'm gonna start biting on my bone. So I apologize if he continues.
Yeah, so I didn't care for the FMC. I mean, surprise, surprise, I usually don't. I usually always gravitate towards the MMC or the villain of the story. However, I didn't like her, okay? She felt so flat, 2-dimensional, maybe 1-dimensional even. Yeah, just flat, okay? Just flat. I felt like she really didn't have growth. I mean, then you could also say that is the point, being that she was an abused FMC and a prisoner, and like very manipulated and brainwashed. You could say that that's probably why Knight was just able to like basically do everything for her. Everybody was basically able to do everything for her. And I think that's what was pretty annoying, is that I didn't get to see her as a character grow. You know, it's like she's still stuck in that abusive mindset. And even though you could say like, oh, but she did this or she did that, and it's just like, yeah, but to me that's not enough growth for FMC. Speaking of Knight, I liked him. Okay, I liked him, but I didn't love him. It wasn't like these characters were like, oh my god, like they're out of this world. No, they were very flat.
Where's the flavor? Where's the flavor in this?
I kind of should have known better, because the ratings on Goodreads, it's pretty low. Okay, it's at a 3.20 something, I think it was, or 40 something to that effect. Okay, but you know, the cover and the stencil edges got me. And the other thing too with this whole story is that it dragged. I felt like it was kind of like all over the place, because the point was to keep you as the reader like in mystery. We didn't know what was happening. Like I didn't even know what her purpose was. You know, like I still don't know what her purpose was. Even towards the end, I still don't know what her purpose was. I'm just surprised that I didn't DNF it. I think it's because I was really trying hard to give this a chance, and it wasn't like horribly bad for me to DNF it, but it wasn't good either. So I think a 2.5, it's probably where the rating is gonna stay. Also, the like romance between her and Knight wasn't believable. Like I just didn't connect to these characters, and it makes me so sad. But will I continue with the series? Yes. I mean, the second book is stunning. Is that the only reason? No. The ratings for the second book is higher. I think it's a 4 average star, whatever, you know, it's higher. I do want to continue to find out where this story goes. It does have a good storyline. Like it has the potential to be a good story. Just book 1 didn't do it for me. Like, yeah, I can see why this was rated low, because that's how I feel. And I'm still going to read the next one. I think from there, if I still feel the way I feel in that one, I don't know if I'll continue with this series. Again, I saw the second book and it's beautiful. Moving on, because you know what? We're not going to spend a whole hour about this book, okay? Yeah, moving on. Okay, bestie. So, another book that I read that was not part of the plan, but I'm not mad that I read it neither. It's Bitch in the Box by S.B. Medina. So just the title itself says enough, right? So this is a splatterpunk erotic horror, and this is the first one that I actually read. And let me tell you, it's not gonna be the last, because I'm a sick motherfucker. So, yeah, so you know, when I'm constantly saying welcome to the dark side, well, I don't know if I've said that in a video, but you know, again, I do know you know that I consider myself a darkling. Well, I say I'm villainous, and I say that I'm the dark one, because that's what I am, especially in my server. So, and that's what I'm just known for. This book, it made me feel things, okay? It made me feel things. I think for the majority of the book, I was just like disgusted. I felt these visceral feelings. I was just like, oh, like all those faces while I was reading this book was made. But then it was also just like that whole feeling of, oh my God, like what? Is this for real? Is this really happening? Just to give you a little snippet of what it's about. These people, I think it was 5 people, they get stuck in an elevator, and each one has their own mental illness. While being in this elevator stuck, a lot of their sicknesses and mental illnesses and their habits come out while being in this elevator, and you experience that. It does make you feel claustrophobic, because that's what the author's intention was. And I think that Medina did an amazing job with all of these little pieces and the people that were in this elevator. It's just insane what goes on in this elevator. Yeah, there's just so many little pieces in this story that I was just like, oh my God. But it was done so well. You're in this person's mind and feeling those feelings that they feel of like desperation and the fact that they have to kind of like give in to that mental illness. Just like, yeah, oh my God. It's just me talking about this, I'm getting all those feelings because it's just like, oh my God. Let's just say it did what it had to do, okay? And for me, all the feelings that I felt and just like also thinking of things too, because I myself was in a particular character's shoes before, and I understand the feelings of like when you think that you're gaining weight, when you think that if you don't do a certain action, it's going to kind of like kill you in a sense. This had me thinking and seeing different perspectives of different type of mental illnesses, while also just feeling like gagged, just disgusted, but then also loving it at the same time because I really enjoyed this book. And I think I gave it a 4.5 star, but it's a 5-star read for me because the way that this book had me feeling, thinking, and seeing others' perspectives on these issues, I was just like, yeah, this definitely is a 5-star read for me. Make sure you check your trigger warnings. It is very gory and disgusting, and it's gonna make you feel things and make faces. As you can see, this is all I've been doing the whole time talking about this book. So after reading that, I definitely needed a nice fluffy palette cleanser because I mean, it just had to happen. So I ended up reading Sweat and Soap by Kintetsu Yamada, volume 2, by the way. Yeah, I mean, after reading Bitch in the Box, I just needed something, okay? Because that's just the way you gotta do things. You read something heavy, dark, disgusting, bring in something light and fluffy and fun. So Sweat and Soap did just that. And let me tell you, this was 5 stars for me because I just love Asako and Natori's relationship, and I love seeing it blossom into something more in this volume and getting to experience the feelings that each one had in this one. For example, I thought it was really cute when Asako was a little jealous, you know, when with a certain coworker. Also, like the whole like cuteness of it, like they just get cuter and more adorable. And the fact that we got to see Asako's family in this one, and Natori got to experience her brother, and yeah, it's just so cute. And I'm definitely going to continue with this series, and I can't wait to see what happens in volume 3. So yeah, definitely 5 stars. Still weird, you know, the whole smelling her sweat thing, but I'm over it because it's just too cute and adorable. So this next book was definitely not planned for this year, bestie. But since the audiobook became available through my library, I was like, you know what? We're doing it. And that is The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. This was definitely on my to read last year, and it didn't happen. Once I finally got the audiobook, because it was such a long wait, I was like, you know what? Screw that. We're finishing the series, and I'm so glad I did. This is the 3rd book because the Miss Four series is a 3-book trilogy. Yeah, that. I love the way Sanderson just wrapped it up. It was perfect. I was down and sad about certain things that happened in this one, but it makes sense, and I still just loved seeing the way everything unfolded and the way that what's her face? Vin and what's his face? Elend. Yes. The 2 main characters, but mainly Vin. Yeah, she's the main one. I like seeing the way everything unfolded between the characters, the relationships, the romance. This is definitely not a romantasy. Do not go into this thinking it's a romantasy. Not that I went into it thinking that, but this is definitely I guess epic fantasy, high fantasy. Yeah. It's more about the political and the world building and like the magic system. The romance is pretty much not really existent. The two people, it's like, yeah, just if you like romantasy, this is not it. Because that's what I'm realizing. I'm like, I need the romance. I live for that shit, especially when it's done right. All in all, this was a 4-star read for me. Well, yeah, 4-star read for me. I really came to realize, one, I don't think high fantasy / epic fantasy, I don't know if there's a difference there, but I don't think it's really for me because I'm a romance girly and I need the romance and I need more of the paranormal stuff. You know, I love that shit. I eat it up. This showed me, girl, you use too much brain power when you're reading high fantasy. Do I want to use brain power while I'm reading? Not really. No. Bad enough just reading and trying to comprehend because, you know, Miss Epilepsy does its thing a lot when I'm reading. So even just taking that into consider, that's already using a lot of brain power. So adding a high fantasy to it with all these like political intrigue and the freaking magic systems and remembering all of that and like trying to comprehend and piece together like, oh my god, this is what happened, yes, and it's because of this. Yeah, it becomes too much for me. So I realized, and I'm not a high fantasy girly, and that's okay. I'm more of a romantasy girly, especially when you sprinkle in fae and demons and yeah, fae and demons and shadow daddies. Like, that's me. Yes. And, you know, romance and some spice. I need that. But yeah, it's okay. That's just a me thing. But all in all, I still would recommend this to anybody that does enjoy high fantasy. If you're fine with the romance being basically non-existent and flat, yeah, if you're not really into that, then this is the series for you. But if you are, and this might not be it. But still, this series is amazing. The overall, I give this whole series 5 stars because it's a great series. Will I continue in the world of Brandon Sanderson? I don't think so. Look at this one. Like, this one is a thick book. When I was in Barnes & Noble with the bestie, did I put that video up yet? No, I didn't. It's coming soon though. So be on the lookout. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. But yeah, his books are just too thick, and it's just, like I said, too much brain power, no romance really. So I'm not looking towards reading those books, even though it is a little tempting. I must say, it is a little tempting because Brandon Sanderson is such a great writer and he weaves these worlds. Like, he's so talented in that way. Like, I wonder how are you able to write such thick books? Like, yeah. But no, I don't think I'm going to read any of the other Sandy series, and that's just a me preference, and that's okay. That's okay. So bestie, okay, you know, this next book that I'm about to talk to you about was like my most anticipated read, well, one of them, of 2025. Phantom by H.D. Carlson. Yes. Okay, so did I enjoy Phantom? Yes, I did. Was it a little bit of a letdown? Was I also disappointed? More like it. Yeah, I kind of was. But I did give this a 4-star rating. Why? Because I loved going back in time to the start of like Gigi and Ronaldo's relationship, which is Addie's great grandmother, her grandmother. So we're still in the world of the cat and mouse duet, haunting and hunting Adeline. We get to see some of this in those books. I loved seeing how everything went down, even though of course I knew a lot of like the bits and pieces of the story, which was pretty weird because at times I felt like like deja vu, you know, like I read this before, and it's like, yeah girl, you did in Haunting Adeline when we first are introduced to Gigi and Ronaldo. So yeah, like I kind of knew bits and pieces of what went on, why things happened, and kind of like what was the outcome. I guess you could say like there wasn't that much of a surprise. However, I did enjoy getting more information, you know, like of things that were said, the way it all went down, how it all went down, you know. That aspect of things I did enjoy, and seeing Gigi and Ronaldo together and reading the way that they felt for each other and that love, and you know, like it was just like, yes. Okay, so I loved all of those things, right? But the thing that I didn't love is just like the ending to this. It wasn't satisfying to me. Like I wanted to know more of like, I don't care that I was reading it again basically, and I basically got some of those answers, most of them I think, in Haunting Adeline. But I really wanted more of the inside, you know, like I wanted not just the journal entries and Addie piecing things together. I wanted to know like exactly what happened, you know. And even though you could say the ending was okay because, you know, it left off, I guess, in a positive note, I don't mind. I don't mind endings being left off negatively, like and negatively in a sense, not the unsatisfying part that I felt, but negatively in a sense where it's like, okay, you know, these two people don't have a happily ever after. You know that, you know, there's stuff that happened. That's what I wanted. That's what I was expecting. Because, you know, it's like all throughout the beginning, it's like, okay, yeah, I know this is happening. And that's what kept me reading too. It was the knowing the tragic part, you know, that is what I wanted to know too. You know, I wanted to feel like, oh my God, kind of like that Romeo and Juliet thing, you know, like, damn, I really wish they could have still been here. And, you know, like that type of feeling. And I didn't get that. Like, okay, yay. It left off the way it left off. But I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? I wanted to know what exactly happened. And I didn't get that. So that's why it's a 4-star. But all in all, I still enjoyed it. I still would recommend it if you really love, you know, if you're obsessed with Zayd Meadows and, you know, Haunting Adeline, the cat and mouse duet like I am. I still recommend it. Just know that, I mean, to each their own, right? Some people were very satisfied with the ending. I'm just one of those people that I just wanted it for what it was, a tragedy, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. I like tragic shit. I mean, sometimes I'm a tragedy. Okay, moving on. So then I decided I needed to finish a book that was just sitting on my Goodreads currently reading show since last year. And that is Incidents Around the House by Josh Malerman. Is there a reason why it was just sitting there? No, not really, because I was enjoying this book. I'm not even sure myself why it was just sitting there, but hey, it happens, right? Sometimes you get in a funk, and that's what happened. I got in a funk. I just didn't want to continue, so it was like on pause. Like literally I was like I was like literally past 50%, but I ended up finishing it in February. And I also got the audiobook eventually, which was nice too. So in this one, we're following this little girl who kind of like has this weird thing in her room called Other Mommy. Yeah, and we're literally just taking on this crazy ride of who Other Mommy is and what are her motives. Actually, is told in the POV of the little girl, and I believe she was 9. I believe she was 9 years old. I found that to be really cool because of the fact that you're kind of like in the mind of an innocent child, right? That she doesn't know any better. You know, she thought that Other Mommy was nice and had good intentions until she didn't. which yeah, that ended up happening. You could only figure. When I got the audiobook, I believe it's a little girl that narrates it. And if it's not a little girl and it's a grown woman, she sure did sound like a little girl, okay? She sure did sound like a little girl. I loved this book. It was so creepy. It was like you felt all the emotions of this little girl. Even while I was reading it and while I was listening to it, I was just so scared for her. And then like everybody else that was around her, I'm just like, oh wow, like y'all have to experience all this shit too. Damn. Yeah, I loved how eerie, how creepy, how desperate this family was to try to get help with this thing that's like haunting this little girl. It was just one heck of a roller coaster ride, and I enjoyed it. I love the fact that other mommy was very believable. She was creepy as hell. Oh my god, some of the scenes in this, I was like and it's so funny because smart Ginnie here would think it was really fun to start reading this at night. Did I want to have my feet out for, thrown under the covers? No. Because some of the scenes, oh my god, bad enough I already have like a trauma with like closet door being open. So it's just like thinking of some of these scenes and other mommy and how creepy stuff was. Yeah, this book was creepy, let me tell you. And you know me, bestie, I'm a horror girly, okay? I absolutely eat this shit up, and this, it gave me all of that. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything like that bothered me too much in this story. It kind of wasn't like it wasn't a 5-star read for me. I just didn't get that 5-star read feeling. Or did I? I gotta think about that because I'm not even sure. It definitely is anywhere from a 4.5 to a 5-star read. Yeah. I definitely recommend this, especially if you're looking for something creepy for October. This is your book. Yes, I highly recommend it for then. Again, you might say that I needed some kind of palate cleanser. No, I didn't really need a palate cleanser. I don't even remember when I read this one, but this is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. Did I put this in my 25 books to read in 2025? I don't remember if I did, or if it just was like one of those impulsive, oh, look, the audio book is available through my library, I'm going to add this. I think I may have, though. I don't remember, but it doesn't matter. What matters is, okay, what rating I gave this and why, right? Yeah, this was just a 3-star rating for me, to be honest. This is just one of those books that it got so much hype and I'm just here like, why? All right, so the good is that I found this romance between Macy and what was his name? Elliot. It was cute. It's a friends to lovers to enemies to lovers, I guess you could say, story. I enjoyed the like back and forth. You go to the past, where they're teenagers. And by the way, well, I'll get into that, but hopefully I don't forget. But you go into the past, seeing how it all started, where it continued on, and then to the future when they meet again and they're adults. Yes, they had like this game that they played, like word of the day type stuff. I thought that was cute. There was some cute quotes in here as well, which was adorable. However, firstly, I feel like this is marketed wrong. It's literally like more marketed as like a romance, right? So I was expecting something like that, but I found out that it's actually women's fiction. Don't ask me, the big difference. Well, I'm guessing the big difference is that it's not like one of those romance, it's hard to explain. Although I did enjoy Macy and Elliot's little romance, but it just fell flat for me. And then the other thing too I did not like is that you're literally mainly following them when they're like young. Think like 16, 15, whatever, however old they were. That's like a lot of the meat of this book. Like, yes, you go to the future where you get to, see what's going on now, but I was just like, why do I want to be stuck in the past for so much of the book? Like, I don't want that. And it was pretty annoying because you're in the mind of teens and it's that start of like puberty and hormones and sex. That was like the main thing between them. And it's like, I wish I would have gotten like more of the friendship piece too, because I was just like, okay, I don't need to know that you're feeling, this word, And I don't need to know how many times or what she was doing, you know, this word. Yeah. No, not my cup of tea. I really didn't care for those aspects of the book. I felt like there was not a difference, you know, like I didn't see growth in the characters. Like they weren't adults. I felt like they were still acting like teenagers. Like I'm like, this is how we're resolving the problem by not talking about the problem. You know, yeah, met, and then you just decide, you know, there's an issue here and we haven't spoken. Wait for it. We haven't spoken for 11 years. Yes. That kind of bothered too, because it was just like, really? So y'all haven't spoken for 11 years and it's because of this? And that's the other thing. I didn't like what it was too, because that's something that one, it could have been settled, even though you could kind of understand why. But I'm just like, Elliot didn't get justice. Christina Loren, you just literally swept under the rug something that happened to Elliot. It's said that this is happening and that this is the reason, and then it's kind of just like, okay, yeah, that's it. Yeah. The other thing too is that even though there was moments that were cute, I did also find moments that was very cringe to me. I just didn't believe the romance aspect of this story. Don't get me wrong, again, there were cutesy moments, but yeah, it's just one of those things again that it's like an overhyped book, and I was just like, really? Like I was expecting tears because I'd seen reviews and past videos and people were like, oh my god, this was so sad, I cried and I pulled at my heartstrings, but it just didn't do none of those things for me. So I'm here like, hey, did we read the same book? Because I didn't feel none of those things. Is it a cute romance for people? I mean, I don't even know to call this a romance, but the other words was, for me, the love, I don't know where that comes from. Yeah, I don't know where that comes from, because this to me is not like a romance, you know? But the other words that I did learn and feel from this book is 1, annoying, 2, triggered and upset. So that's kind of that's 2 words in itself. But yeah, 3, cringe, and 4, there are cutesy moments. Yeah. That's the other words that I got for this book. I read another psychological thriller that was also 5-star. Yes, bestie. This month, as you can tell, like there's been some amazing reads. Yes. And that book is Confessions by Kanai Minato. Yes. This to me was another unique take on a psychological thriller. And mind you, like I've just started dipping my feet into the psychological thriller genre. I've always read, I guess, like the more mystery thrillers, but I'm in my psychological thriller era, okay? Well, I'm in a little bit of everything era, okay? We know the way shit goes here. We know, right, bestie? We know. You know. Yeah, you know. Psychological thrillers, I think I am enjoying them more than like your average mystery type thriller. Because the fact that you go into the minds of these people, that's what makes it fun. There's like, I think 4 different POVs or 5, but we are following a mother who literally goes to a class of students that she believes killed her daughter, and she is on her revenge. This is her revenge arc, and let me tell you, I absolutely love the way this was written. You get to see like the way the mother feels, who she suspects, and then all the other students. Minato definitely left little crumbs, and I was here like, okay. I was eating these crumbs up because I wanted to find out, firstly, who actually did it, what was the motive, and then like the mom, like I'm telling you, like the way that this was put together, it was freaking so smart. I was reading this the whole time. Like, there was certain POVs that I was like, okay, I'm not sure I'm getting why your POV is here, but I guess I'll find out. And let me tell you, I found out. And I was like, oh my God, yes. And I listened to the audiobook while reading along. I loved the way the narrator too did the voices, especially for the one that actually did what they did. Yeah, it just makes you feel like, oh my God, this freaking kid is crazy. One of the other things I love too is like being able to see like the mom and hear her thoughts, not just once but twice. The way that she did everything was just like, it was chef's kiss. Okay, you know what, like, you just got to read this. Okay, so add it to your cart. It's amazing. And yeah, that's it. That's just it. Highly recommend. 5-star read. I love the shit out of this book. Okay, bestie, I don't know what you're going to be up to, but for me, I have a date with my man's Hawk. Yes. So I leave you with that. I'm not going to be talking about this book in this video, but you best to believe I'm going to let you know my thoughts in my March wrap up. And look, bestie, look, if this doesn't say how much I'm enjoying it, I don't know what does. But yeah, I'm going to see you next time. Okay, I love you. Bye-bye.